Hey YouTube, welcome into my new YouTube video. Today we're going to be recording this live on Twitch. So you'll see my chat in the bottom left. Today we're going to be covering the full story of the Sith Emperor explained Star Wars Legends. Now this is going to be covering the one character I've been wanting to cover for a long time, a long while, which is that one guy that was bullying Revan and that, I remember right, took over Valkorion's body, right? That one guy that they did not want him to get revived no matter what, and came back in the end anyways, where the Sith and the Jedi both teamed up to kill this motherfucker because he was being a problem. This is one of the characters I've been wanting to get into a long time, so without further ado, get comfortable, get your snacks, get your drinks, and let's get right into this, alright? This is something I definitely am excited to get into.
Son, who is his real father?
Oh, debauchery, cheating, chorus drama in the first part.
King and bird his spawn?
Please, he made me.
You stupid, naive.
I don't even know what's happening, but drama.
Tenebra, you saved me?
Oh, she bad though. I'm not gonna. She bad though. Don't judge me, chat. Okay? Don't judge me, chat.
The long and epic tale of Tenebra, the Sith who ruled for over 1,000 years.
Oh, 1,000 years? That's a pretty good reign period.
On an outer rim world named Medrias. This was in the year of 5113 BBY. The current reigning Dark Lord of the Sith was Marka Ragnos, who resided on Korriban. The world of Tenebra,
Korriban.
Medrias, had its own king and ruler. This was Lord Draemith. Draemith was the biological father of Tenebra, and when he was no older than 10, he had learned of his true father after hearing his parents argue over the deceit. Tenebra's stepfather, who was married to his mother, learned the truth, and this caused him to lash out violently towards her before he could do any serious damage. Tenebra intervened and broke his father's neck, using the Force. The reason they had started arguing was because the stepfather witnessed the boy with Force potential, so this raised suspicion as to who he really was. It seemed as though the boy had saved his mother's life. Yet this was not the case. The child Tenebra was disgusted at his mother's betrayal. He had been lied to all this time. The kid snapped. He realized he had power boiling inside of him, feeling invincible. With his newfound
man got high off of revenge. You know what? The tale old as time. I got Emperor still better. Nah, come on now. Come on now. Don't bring Warhammer in here. Let's enjoy this for what it is.
Accomplished in such a short time. No more than 3 years passed since the child murdered his parents, and yet he had already claimed so much. Several major towns and trade routes were under his control.
Wow, man rose in power quickly.
Draemith had no choice but to meet with the child.
I'm impressed. What you have achieved here is quite extraordinary. Yet, I can't help but notice the lands you conquered actually belong to me.
No,
And
more
why is it that
drama.
you came to me
Battle?
to see
War?
if the rumors were true. They say you are my son, and all I see before me is a sniveling child. Kneel before your king.
A sniveling child.
Kneel.
Making daddy kneel is crazy.
My way will be crushed.
As just a young teenager, Tenebra forced his real father into submission and took control over the entire planet Medrias. The feats and achievements
Claiming
of
his
this
own
young
planet
Sith
is crazy.
caught the attention of the current reigning Dark Lord, Marka Ragnos. Ragnos was able to see the potential within Tenebra and invited him to Korriban.
Man's built
where
like
he
a
would be
reindeer.
recognized for his power and be knighted a Darth.
Goofy eye helmet, I'm not
The
gonna
Darth
lie.
title is only
Goofy eye
given to
helmet.
those who are powerful enough to defend it. The title itself was a statement of authority and ranked Tenebra above many other Sith from the time. Along with his title, and as tradition to the Sith, Tenebrae was reborn with a new name, Darth Vitiate. Now that
there it is, the name that we
Tenebrae
all know
decided
today.
to return to Medrias, and with his newfound power in Sith politics, he renamed the planet to Nathema. Darth Vitiate
Never
was
heard
a
of it.
Sith pureblood. This meant that he was naturally attuned to the Force biologically,
I see.
specifically with the dark side. Not that this would explain his incredible power level. It was simply a prodigy of his craft. After he returned to his homeworld, he spent his time outside the existence of the other Sith Lords in the galaxy. You could say he valued his privacy, and there was a reason for that. Darth Vitiate was studying and possibly even creating powerful darkside rituals and spells. He would also invest a lot of funds and time into Force-imbued technology that could enhance or even extend the life of someone. Such inventions would take him time to complete.
Yeah,
Time.
but
That's what Vitiate needed.
yeah.
For all his power and
Well,
rank,
seeing
none of it would
I see where this is. I mean, we all know where this goes, right? But I see that. It makes sense. This man is interested so much, kind of like Plagueis, right? And in like manipulating life and our life expectancy, and diving his hands in immortality. The only thing is, this guy kind of achieved it. In the end of the day, he kind of achieved it because he was able to possess bodies and live out entire lives out, like conquering and everything. So, you know what? I guess it paid off.
would matter if time could take it away from him. This developed a complex within the young Sith Lord, a complex that would haunt him for many years. Nearly 100 years later, the death of Marka Ragnos is made known, meaning that the Dark Lord's throne currently lays empty, yet Darth Vitiate had no intentions of heading to Korriban to take it for himself. No, instead, Darth Vitiate, now much older, decided that he will let the current Sith Dark Council, including the likes of Naga Sadow and Ludo Kresh, fight between themselves for the throne. Vitiate stayed out of the affair altogether. Then, in the year 5000 BBY, the Great Hyperspace War began, but yet again,
There is no such thing as immortal. Only shades have stopped dying. Alucard Helsing. Oh, I've been thinking about doing a Van, or it's not Van Helsing. The Helsing Abridged series. I might do that, but then again, I also want to cover the SAO one. Food for thought. Food for thought, chat. Food for thought.
Vitiate stayed out of it. The Sith who did join were defeated and forced to retreat to Korriban.
He's
but
playing
the
his
Republican
waiting
Jedi
time.
even chased them there. This left the remaining Sith forces completely defeated and now scattered across the galaxy. Now, Darth Vitiate would act. Now he was ready.
He's like, I'm
Vitiate
waiting,
sent word to the
cooking
remaining Sith in the galaxy that they may find refuge on Nathema, and that Darth Vitiate will bring them their vengeance. Some Sith refused the call. They fled and found a new life. But the majority answered the call, and they accepted the invitation.
Did they get
When all the
consumed by
Sith had
him?
arrived on Nathema, Darth Vitiate gave a glorious speech of how he had found a way to make them all stronger, so they could retaliate against the
He's
Jedi
lying.
Republic. All they would need to do is take
He's
part in a powerful
lying.
ritual that Vitiate had prepared.
He's gonna
It took
consume
many
them all.
weeks of lessons and final preparation until they began. Oblivious to the real truth, the Legion of Sith had fallen into Darth Vitiate's trap. He cared not for the survival of the Sith, but only the survival of himself. The powerful darkside ritual began, and the many who had helped chant the words were consumed and devoured. It didn't stop there. Luscious fields of green were turned to desolate and repugnant plains. The normal people going about their lives had their force energy suddenly swallowed.
Like I thought, yeah, man's eating everybody. Nom,
Scattered
nom,
around
nom,
the
nom,
now
nom,
completely
nom.
soulless cities. Darth Vitiate had succeeded in feasting on the force energy of everything on the planets. Everything. And now, only he remained. Vitiate was restored to his youthful appearance. His power had increased 1,000-fold, and he now believed himself to be immortal.
Not yet, bro.
After all, he could now restore himself through the same ritual at any time.
I'm about to say, get at least, I'd say, 10 more planets. 10 more planets. then we could start talking. We could start talking about immortality. All right, 10 more planets.
He was even so powerful
You gotta get some
that he wouldn't
insurance
need
in
the
there.
help of anybody else to make it happen. But the price of immortality was a heavy toll. Vitiate very likely suffered immense amounts of pain during his transition into the power from the ritual. His insides would have felt like boiling lava. The pain would never stop. He would simply grow numb instead, removing all sense of pain completely. His voice was also changed into that of merged voices, as if he were using the mouths of those he had consumed. Once he had gathered himself, Vitiate headed for Ziost and Drummond Kars, where he assumed leadership and the mantle of Emperor of the Sith.
Yeah.
The actions on Nathema were known only to Vitiate, leaving the remaining empire to speculate with wild rumors throughout the next 1,000 years. Darth Vitiate rebuilt the Sith Empire in darkness, claiming worlds such as Ziost and Drummond Kars for capital cities. The Emperor chose to reside in his dark throne room at the Citadel on Drummond Kars.
Why?
He spends the next 1,000 years building his power base,
I think he crashed
preparing
it.
to
Did he
take on
crash
the
it?
Jedi
You might have crashed my
Republic
character
once
with
again.
that.
Yet his plans were more ambitious.
Did you crash my character? I think you did. I think you did. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Well, why? What did I do? You crashed my character for like a half a second.
Ambitious than this, Darth Vitiate knew that only his reign and rule mattered. He was all-powerful, and still afraid of time. Although now he was essentially immortal, that didn't make him invulnerable. He knew that the Force could offer a way to defeat him, and this only made his paranoia worse. He concluded that his only option would be to consume every living thing in the galaxy, and to do so, he would need even more power.
How do you conclude? How paranoid is that? You said, I don't want to die. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill everybody else so it's just me, and then I can never die. How paranoid are you to think that's a good idea in any
He wouldn't be able to
regard?
just go around consuming more planets. That would scare his allies away and likely also alert the larger galaxy to his presence. He planned carefully for the millennia, thought of every path and made a backup plan. He had also recently learned he could transition his own essence between different bodies.
There we
This
go.
gave him a unique idea, a failsafe for if anything goes wrong in the long term. Vitiate separated the majority of his essence from his original body. He then carved a ritual into the flesh of his original body that would activate as a failsafe if someone were to ever defeat him. Now that he was separated, he moved his original body to a secret location nobody except his chosen knew of. With his backup in place, he was ready to begin his plans. Vitiate was actually in search of his exiled half-brother. You see, his father, Lord Draemith, already had a son of his own, who he also named Draemith. However, this half-brother was disgraced and exiled after Tenebrae took control, and now the Emperor had a lead on where the remains and temple of his half-brother were. The Emperor had
temple,
sent
so
an
he was a
emissary to
Sith
Mandalore
as
the
well,
Ultimate
okay.
in roughly the year of 3976 BBY. This emissary was a Sith pureblood who told Mandalore of a vision that his master had had, that he would win a war against a republic. However, from far across the galaxy, the Emperor used his powers of Force persuasion to convince Mandalore into going to war, believing he would win like it was his own idea. Mandalore had the remaining information that the Emperor needed on Draemith's remains, which were located in a tomb on Rekiad. It's unclear what exactly the Emperor planned to do with these remains. However, I think it's very plausible that he wanted to remove any evidence of Nathema's former state, including one of its former residents, Draemith. It's possible he just disposed of the remains, or somehow integrated them into Sith alchemy. In the year of 3960 BBY, some 16 years later, the Jedi hero Revan and his allies, Alec, Mitra Surik and others, defeated the Mandalorians and saved the galaxy.
But this is when
the
they...
heroes Revan and Alec
Yeah.
found clues of the Sith's existence.
And they go at him,
became
and they get
lucky.
mind swapped. They get
Eventually,
fucked.
The Emperor had taken notice that someone was tracking him. Whether Revan found the Emperor or the Emperor simply guided him is hard to say. It's possible both. Either way, their paths were fated to meet. After some time, the Jedi heroes were able to gain an inside ally that would help them make an attack on the Emperor. They had discovered that he was residing on Drummond Cars, and they believed that they could stop him. Revan and Alec had successfully infiltrated the Emperor's throne room on Drummond Cars. They were snuck in past the guards by someone they believed who was helping them. However, it turned out that this ally was simply baiting Revan and Alec into a trap at the throne room.
Now, Darth Revan and Darth Malak, I task you to use the Force to find the ancient Regaton Starforge and use it against the Republic to cripple them.
The fact that he's
Once
like,
you
you know
have
what? You have these Jedi around here. You know, they come up to me. I look at them like, you're not Jedi no more. You work for me. And they're like, all right, we work for you. I know that's a simplification, but that's basically what happened. Am I wrong? He mind fucked them so bad that he turned them into Sith and then into his slaves. It's crazy.
You'll return to me, and only me.
The Emperor was able to overpower Revan and Alec with great ease. He twisted and warped their minds into serving him and corrupting them to the dark side.
That's so
However,
crazy.
after he deployed
He gave
his
them
new
back.
Super
Okay,
Sith,
Chad.
he lost all contact with them and was left to assume that they had been killed. The Emperor had intended to use Darth Revan and Darth Malak as the vanguard of his invasion. He would be able to use Revan and Malak without anybody knowing of his own existence, and the Emperor liked how convenient this was to him. If Revan and Malak were to fail, it would be no skin off his nose. But alas, Revan and Malak never returned. The Emperor wasn't able to tell anyone else about his plans to invade the Republic eventually. The notion of war for most Sith meant certain doom. The vast majority believed that going to war with the Jedi again would result in their final and true extinction, utter suicide. Even the current Dark Council was against such a thing. The Emperor had to be careful how he played his politics. If he was to go to war or even kill members of his own council for disagreeing, he'd need a good reason to tell the public. Keeping the public trust was important to maintaining his position as Emperor of the Sith. No one could learn his true, horrific intentions. A few years later, the Emperor would be informed by a low-ranking Sith named Lord Scourge that members of his own Dark Council were planning to betray him. In truth, there was in fact a secret cult of Sith within the Empire, including Dark Council members, that secretly opposed the Emperor. Some of them had learned the truth behind Nathema and the events that transpired 1,000 years ago. However, the Emperor did not know they knew this. The Emperor had been looking for a reason to purge his Dark Council. And now
he has one.
He would continue
Oh
by
no,
dissolving
he's
his
about to kill everybody. Your soul is mine. Your soul, or your force life is mine. Your force life is mine. Your force life is mine.
council and killing each member. 9 of them were summoned to the throne room, and they never left alive. The remaining members were attacked and killed within their strongholds. Using the situation as an opportunity, the Emperor considered proclaiming that the Republic had spies on the Dark Council, and he killed them for that reason. This would be enough to entice his people to want to wage war. However, before the Emperor was able to make any immediate plans, his throne room was entered by none other than Revan, Lord Scourge, and Mitra Surik, who had allied together to confront the Emperor. The Emperor was surprised to see Revan alive, and without too much hesitation, Revan charged the Emperor. He was able to defend himself by striking Revan with a blast of Force energy, but he continued charging. The Emperor was then knocked back a few times by Revan. This act of being pushed back was new. The Emperor did not like being struck. The fact that Revan was able to penetrate the Emperor's force shield and connect was very troubling to the Emperor. However,
what is this? Me, the level 150 pro, getting hurt by the level 80 mid? That's crazy. I must be going soft, or he must be cheating. It's like a Space Marine kill an orc with a chainsword and you get health. This is the worst part of SWORD lore, I'm gonna be honest. Really?
was no match. The Emperor was able to suspend Revan midair with a huge web of force lightning, which melted Revan's flesh and scarred his helmet onto his face. The little astromech droid, T3M4, was able to distract the Emperor with his flamethrower attachment. A solid attempt, but no real damage was done. The little droid was destroyed in retaliation. The Emperor then picked up Revan's lightsaber and used it to swing the finishing blow. However, Mitra Surik was able to intercept the swing with her lightsaber throw. Even this act caught the Emperor off guard. Had she aimed for his head, she might have succeeded. Revan and his allies stand and confront the Emperor together. But the situation turns as Lord Scourge, who has a powerful force vision in the moment, decided to betray and murder Mitra Surik. While the Emperor, once again, spread Revan with lightning to find out Scourge's...
Oh my god, they fucking betrayal. Betrayal. Damn, they could have maybe pulled this off in the moment, but no. Greediness, selfishness always fucks something up, and now we get the, it gets worse.
Side of the story, check out our explained video on him. Lord Scourge told the Emperor that he had pretended to be on Revan's side and that he was forced into bringing them there. After a small test of truth, the Emperor chose to believe Lord Scourge's words. As a reward, the Emperor gave Scourge the title of Emperor's Wrath, and he would answer only to him and no one else.
Oh wow, that's a pretty cool title. Emperor's Wrath is your title? Damn. Oh my god, that's actually kind of, that go hard aura on that, 100%.
In addition, he also gave Scourge the gift of immortality. The Emperor had over the years perfected...
and benefits? You get insurance? That's crazy. Scourge, you got yourself a deal there, bro. I'd take that deal right there. I'm just saying, I'd take that deal.
Many of his dark side imbued technologies, and was now able to make a single person immortal through a combination of the technology and his own divine power. Scourge would now serve at his side as his wrath for all time. However, Scourge still secretly plotted against him. After the throne room situation, the Emperor had to rethink his plans. Revan was able to breach his defenses. If the Republic had more Jedi like Revan, then challenging them now would be very risky. So he turned on the idea and decided to wait and build his power base up more. He also held Revan captive in the Maelstrom prison, rather than killing him. He used Revan as a link to the light side of the Force, learning and soaking in his powers. It would even help the Emperor have visions of the future. But the link went both ways, and the Emperor did not realize this. Revan was able to plant subtle seeds of persuasion that would convince the Emperor not to attack the Republic yet, buying them more time. Yet time is something the Emperor has had a lot of.
And
we don't know
has
exactly
too much
when,
of.
but at some point during his 1,000-year reign, the Emperor also possessed another host on another world. This was a human male named Valkorion.
Yeah, Valkorion.
Of Zakul. The Emperor had discovered an intriguing ancient history here. He discovered the technological planet of Iokath and its machine gods, along with the almighty Eternal Fleet, which was used by civilizations long gone.
Honestly, I like this world and like their drip and their like
planet Zakul, which he named the Eternal Empire.
And this faction, I like this faction
as
a lot.
Benevolent leader, known as the Immortal Emperor who saved the people generations past. The society here viewed him as a deity, a divine emperor.
Hey, look at that drip.
This was done in complete secrecy from the larger galaxy.
That armor goes hard.
While the Emperor focused on Zakul, his silence would be noticed across the Sith Empire, leading many to believe the Dark Council is the leadership of the Empire. The Emperor's original goal was for total consumption of the galaxy, but at some points he became distracted by other goals. He spent much time as Valkorion, even having a family with Senya Taral and marrying her. Make sure you check out our explained video.
Because I
on
actually,
his family.
I mean, I knew he had kids,
no real love for them,
but I'm like,
it was
I wonder
just
how that
another
went.
experiment to him. Valkorion had 3 children.
That's crazy. This is some JJK. This is all for part of my plan. Kenjaku ass plan here. This is Kenjaku before Kenjaku, you know? Taking over bodies to start families for an experiment. Bro, that's some dedication to your plans, man.
2 twin sons and 1 daughter, Arkan, Vexen, and Valen. The boys struggled to impress their father growing up, while Valen showed terrible signs of being her father's daughter. His daughter Valen reminded him of himself when he was a young Sith named Tenebrae. Seeing how much power she wielded at a young age was enough to scare Valkorion into conditioning her power as to not end up the same way his own father did.
Right. I remember hearing about this, that his daughter was actually so scary that he's like, I need a condition. I need to nerf her.
Many years ago. So Valen was conditioned and her power was sealed. Had she been allowed to let it free, it was possible she could threaten Valkorion and even rival him. When Senya learned of this and tried to stop it, she failed and was instead seen as an outcast to the entire family. Valkorion had simply used her, and now she was to be cast aside. Then, in the year 3681 BBY, the Emperor gave his command to make the Sith's presence known to the galaxy again. The entire Sith Empire had returned in Legion. Republic had not expected such a large force to oppose them from what was basically out of nowhere. Small reports and rumours of the Sith's progress in the Outer Rim had made way to their ears, yet they had taken light of the information.
Yo, her armor though, look at her armor though, it goes hard.
The Emperor had his empire retake Korriban. Then he spread his empire throughout the Outer Rim entire so they could hold it, and other precious worlds such as Korriban more easily. The Emperor also had Legion of Sith he had hand-selected and even groomed over the years.
That's crazy. That's crazy
But
allegations there.
he still liked to have strong allies. Allies such as the Dreadmasters. The Dreadmasters were a group of human Sith lords, each with their own Darth name: Calphias, Brontes, Bestia, Tyrants, Styrek, and Raptus. These individuals were some of the Emperor's most favourite Sith.
The sword
if he was
cutscenes
to
are
have
goated. Oh yeah, the
such a thing.
cutscenes are
They specialized in fear,
absolute
madness,
cinema.
and depravity.
Absolute
The
cinema.
Emperor unleashed his Dreadmasters onto the
Masterpieces.
Republic and Jedi.
Look at
However,
this.
they were ultimately defeated and captured on Belsavis. After the loss of his Dreadmasters, the Emperor pointed his empire in the direction of Alderaan. You can see the events of this fight in the cinematic trailer. After the first couple of years of the Sith's return, the Emperor had
left,
many
right,
infants
jump,
brought to him by
slash
his
down,
Sith agents.
bro.
These infants and children would have a dark side seed planted within them, which worked like having a sleeper agent. He had corrupted them into servitude without them knowing, and then sent them back to their homes. He would then be able to activate them later down the line to assist him in his ambitions. The Sith Emperor called and titled these individuals as children of the Emperor. He also managed to plant a second personality within the Jedi, Sire Bikan, who would hold the title of First Son. Sire Bikan was unknowingly aiding the Emperor and helping to keep his dark siblings undiscovered, as many that were indoctrinated would later become Jedi. In the next few years, the Emperor and his empire completely secured Ziost, Korriban, Balmorra, for the most part, and even
Bro, this guy has plans and plans in plans in plans in plans, backup plans on backup plans. I got nothing but respect for this guy.
At this point in time, the war was being fought to a stalemate, but winning wasn't the only goal. With his immense power, the Emperor was now able to simply feed off of death itself, consuming the carnage and chaos of war.
You gotta benefit off anything you can, and honestly, I respect it.
Making him more powerful individually. After roughly 28 years of war with the Republic, since they returned and made their presence known, the Emperor changed his tactic. He ordered that a peace treaty be made with the Republic to bring an end to the war. Some of his Sith, such as Darth Malgus, were completely stunned at the order. The word peace didn't go down well in Sith conversation. Forced to obey, his empire, and namely Lord Barriss, held negotiations for a peace treaty on Alderaan. At the same time,
Of course,
Darth Malgus
Alderaan
performs the sacking of Coruscant. which he did before he knew about the Order for Peace. Technically, the victor of the war was the Empire, as they had basically forced the Republic into signing the treaty by attacking the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Part of the treaty terms were to return Coruscant to the Republic. Again, some Sith, such as Darth Malgus, were stunned and against the idea of giving back the core world, but the Emperor knew that holding it wasn't the point, but merely letting them know what was possible and that it can happen at any time.
Oh,
was
such
the
a
point.
flex. Such a flex. He's like, I'll give it back to you, but just know, we took it and we could do it again. It's such a like, fuck you thing. Like, oh my god, that's crazy. That's such a flex, bro. I
Also,
love this man.
Coruscant was probably the most expensive planet to fund, so they had no intention of doing that. The Jedi were shunned away from Coruscant, and Satele Shan found a new Jedi homeworld by rediscovering Typhon in the year 3651 BBY. After they signed the treaty, the Empire still had battles with the Jedi and Republic. The Emperor had assaulted Dantooine and even won. He also attacked the planet Voss, which was new to the galaxy at the time, but they were pushed back with the help of the Republic. Then, the Emperor would be silent. In this time, he had gone quiet with his own empire, almost essentially leaving them to it. In truth, the Emperor had fed and gorged all the deaths so far, resulting in yet another power boost. It's more than likely
what did he awaken?
He focused his time on Zakul more than he did anywhere else. At this point in time, we can confirm that the Emperor has split into at least 3 different people. We have the Sith Emperor, Valkorion the Immortal Emperor, and we have Tenebrae, who is in stasis at the top.
Bro, the fact that he's like, I could divide myself to 3 people is crazy. I will glaze this man. I don't care. All right, I will glaze. I will glaze this man. I do not care. He is that guy.
Location. It's hard to say how many others at this time he possessed, as he did have roles for things such as the Emperor's voice. Such a being was found during the Sith Warrior storyline, where we see a Voss who has been possessed by the Emperor. This voice was being forced to stay by an ancient entity the Dark Lord was curious about, known as Selma Kor. This dark deity was older than even the Emperor by nearly 2,000 years. It was the Emperor's wrath that saved this voice of the Emperor on Voss and freed its essence. Eventually, a Jedi strike team, including the hero of Typhon, were able to break into and assault the Emperor's roaming fortress. Whether inside was the voice or the real Sith Emperor is hard to say. However, the Emperor was able to overwhelm this strike team and even manages to corrupt the Jedi into darkness.
That's crazy. Of
Others
course.
were killed. Even the hero of Typhon had succumbed to the Emperor's will for a short time. A few weeks later, the captured hero of Typhon broke free of the Emperor's control and escaped the fortress, assisted by none other
This animation
than
go hard though.
Scourge on the way. All that time ago, when Revan, Scourge, and Mitra faced the Emperor, Scourge had a vision of a powerful Jedi who
I know we're about it. We're listening to the audio, but look at this man here. This man right here. I love him. He's such a G. You know why? Look at this. He fucking eats the grenade to try to kill this guy. Like, look at this shit. Oh, he's like, if I'm going out, you're going out with me.
That's a Jedi. Even though Scourge was working against the
Badass.
he still held his cover, and the Emperor suspected nothing so far. Scourge did, however, feed the Emperor small bits of information to keep him from being skeptical. So Scourge did inform the Emperor of the Jedi Knights who had risen to challenge him. The Emperor made no immediate plans to go after this Jedi, nor did he fear losing against them, for he knew that he had become too powerful to simply destroy in one single form. The Emperor would need to be defeated at the heart of his essence to be truly destroyed. Yet the situation proved opportunity to him. The Jedi would inevitably challenge and confront the Emperor, and he planned to use this to his own advantage. The time finally came, and the Jedi hero of Typhon confronted the Emperor in his dark throne room on Drummond Cars.
The circle closes.
The end begins. If you kill everything in the galaxy, you'll be all alone. What's the point? You discern a fraction of reality. Beyond these stars exist other galaxies, other worlds, other beings. I'll experience or ignore them as I wish. When the last living thing in the universe dies, I will enjoy peace and wait for the cycle to begin again.
He's like an optimistic S682 from the last reaction we did. My god, man is actually... You know what? He's not even a Sith Lord at this point. He's just an entity. He's just an enigma. He is a dark being. Like he is no longer just a human anymore at this point.
So casually uttered the word peace was the first sign of his loyalty to the Sith. He was truly beginning to believe he simply knew better. Despite the Jedi now believing they had beaten the Emperor, he had actually moved his essence from the hearse and rested in solitude within a temple on Yavin 4. His encounter with the Jedi had left him weakened, and resting was appropriate. The Emperor had intentionally led them to believe he was defeated, as this meant they would no longer see him as a threat or seek him out.
Mind games, bro. Mind games.
Developing the eternal society of Zakul. No one would be looking for him, except one. One who refused to truly leave this realm until the Emperor was defeated.
Revan?
Yeah, Revan! Check out our explained video on Revan to get his side of the story. Before we get into that, did you know that while rumors of the Emperor's death began to surface, a Sith uprising began on Oricon? The Dreadmasters had been freed recently before now, and they heard that the Emperor was apparently killed by a Jedi. Because of this, the Dreadmasters assume control over the Sith and begin a rampaging war on Oricon. They also cause trouble on Dinova and Darvanis. The actual Sith Empire rejected their madness and evil doctrine and fought against them. Ultimately, they were defeated by a special operation group, and their attempt to assume the Emperor's reign was thwarted. Back to Revan. Revan was broken free from the Maelstrom prison by a Jedi strike team. However, an Imperial strike team was able to intercept him at the Foundry and defeat him. But when Revan was defeated, he did not truly die. His physical body had separated
this is when we rejected death.
The dark side. Revan became obsessed with drawing out and defeating the Emperor.
Oh right, when there's like two sides of him.
After his defeat, and built up his own army using a Sith cult known as the Revanites. In roughly 37 BBY.
Bro, Revanites is such a funky name, bro. I ain't gonna lie, kind of trash. Revanites, nah, it's nerd name, nerds.
After the Emperor was said to be defeated already, Revan Reborn returned to the galaxy and waged war against anyone who opposed him. Revan Reborn fueled a treaty between the Republic and Empire, who had teamed together to take on Revan. This version of Revan insisted that the Emperor wasn't truly gone, and that he needed to draw him out on Yavin 4. Despite trying to hide his essence, his presence on Yavin 4 was undeniable to all the Force users who touched down on the planet, meaning Revan wasn't lying. Revan was defeated at the hands of the Empire and Republic. However, the Emperor had taken notice, and he felt now was the time to make his presence known again.
You wanted my return. You did not need to destroy whole fleets or turn a living world barren for that. The scores of death have nourished me. I have awakened.
Yep, in the end.
Dead.
In the end, he only fed it.
This part of the Emperor's essence made its way to Ziost. Now that he was replenished in power from absorbing the dead of the previous Revanite war, he was ready to show the galaxy just how powerful he really was. He was able to possess hundreds, if not thousands of people at the same time on Ziost. He used them to cause chaos and havoc across the world. The Republic and Empire showed up to assault the Emperor, however the effort would be made in vain.
At this point, get another body, throw it into space, just in case, Emperor. Be paranoid as you were. Thanos snapped their asses like crazy. Look at that. Oh my god, it's eating all of them. Yeah, bro. Bro, that's crazy. Tell me that ain't crazy. Man's overpowered, bro. Somebody nerf this man now.
And then
Somebody nerf him.
his power by once again consuming a world. Ziost didn't stand a chance. Without the use of a ritual or a legion of Sith to help, the Emperor was able to devour and corrupt the entire planet. Anything that survived was tainted by the dark side. Similar to Nathema, Ziost's landscape completely changed. Even its colour was washed out to the naked eye. After the
Even
Emperor
color was
consumed
consumed?
his essence
That's
left
crazy.
Ziost and made its way to Valkorion, where they once again added together. Now, the immortal Emperor was vastly more powerful than before. In his time as Valkorion, the Emperor had rebuilt a facility on Nathema, which housed his most top-secret technology and his personal vault. This is also the place where Valen was conditioned.
Man embodied
In his
Nihilist?
reign, he
Nah,
had
bro, my
accumulated
man surpassed Nihilist. He's Nihilist on his free time. On his free time, he's Nihilist. As attitude here. He got a little bit of appetite, not as much as Nihilist, but my god, is this crazy.
the largest amount of Sith history and artifacts. It's believed that the Emperor knew more than any other Sith in terms of raw knowledge. No other has ever amassed the same collection. He had even created a Sith holocron that he immortalized his father, Lord Draemith, inside of, by imprisoning his essence there.
That's crazy.
He enjoyed summoning and torturing his father over the years. His suffering was to never end. As mentioned
Hater.
before,
Hater. I love this
Valkyrie
man.
had 3 children. Valen had only recently returned from her conditioning, which took many years. When she returned, she kneeled and submitted to Valkorion. His 2 sons, Arkan and Fexen,
One killed the
were
other.
eager to prove themselves to their father
Yeah.
as worthy sons and heirs. Arkan specifically had a harder time dealing with the rejection. Valkorion was a different host, but the personality remained the same. The Emperor was cruel at heart and offered no mercy or favours to his sons. In fact, it's more likely he awaited the time for one brother to exceed the other. As brothers, they shared a natural bond, and the Emperor saw this as only weakness that needed to be cast aside. Eventually, the Emperor tasked his sons with raiding the Republic and Empire to test the strength of his eternal empire and his enemies. The 2 sons laid waste to every planet they touched down on and had an overwhelming victory on every occasion. The immortal Emperor had taught his knights and sons to tap into the Force from a different perspective. They were not indoctrinated by Sith code nor Jedi code.
Yeah, they were their
They
own.
were simply taught to wield power
Yeah.
and use it. This method of force learning had the sons break through many limitations one might find in other instructions. They were able to summon mighty force waves and large powerful golden beams of force judgment and lightning when they returned to the
Gold
immortal
beams of
Emperor.
lightning is crazy. That's some divine justice ass fucking move to have in your
To present
arsenal.
him with their trophies of war.
I'm just saying,
The
it's
Emperor
broken,
wasn't
bro. He made
impressed
everybody around him
and
broken.
Once again, turned away. As we know, it was this moment where Arkan was blinded by his hatred for his father.
Yeah, he killed his brother.
Accidentally deals a lethal blow to his own brother,
Yep.
Fexen, who then dies in his arms. Seeing that one son had now overcome the other, the Emperor had for the first time
And then he walked up to them
acknowledged
and
his
said,
son Arkan.
"Come with me,
The relationship
my son."
wouldn't last, however, as Arkan was filled with jealousy, grief, and naive ambition. The Emperor used his son's death as a martyr for the people of Zakul, claiming he lost his life in the raids against the galaxy, defending them. The remaining leaders of the Empire, such as Darth Maul and Darth Nox, went in search of the Emperor. They were able to stumble across a drone that led them right to the Eternal Fleet in wild space. The Eternal Fleet easily overpowered the Empire's and Republic's search teams. The hero of the game, Star Wars The Old Republic, and Darth Maul are taken captive and brought before the immortal Emperor in his throne room on Zakuul.
This is the blue guy we see.
Did not tell anyone about who he truly was, so his own people.
Oh, this is Valkorion, right.
As the Emperor of Zakuul.
No, it's kind of hard to keep in tabs of who's who and who's who, or not who's who. Which body are we talking to of his 3 bodies? I mean 2 technically, but you know.
Arrived, he was able to clearly identify him as the Sith Emperor.
A new name, a new face. These are not enough to hide from us.
Valkorion played along and in the end offered to share his power with the hero of the game, who we will now refer to as the Outlander. One of 2 things can happen here. Either the Outlander stabs Valkorion in the back, or Arkan does. Either way, at this meeting, Valkorion's body is destroyed. However, we know that this alone would not defeat him.
Yeah, it's just
When
like,
his
oh,
body
you
burst,
destroyed that
his
host.
essence lashed on to the Outlander. The Emperor, whether it was planned or not for this moment, had intended to take over the Outlander's mind. He could have simply overwhelmed his son's mind instead, or anyone else in the room, but the Emperor became blind to his own defeat, so he wanted to keep playing along until he was ready to strike again. The Outlander was frozen in carbonite for 5 years, so essentially, so was Valkorion. When the Outlander is rescued, the Emperor makes his presence known to the Outlander, and the 2 begin to form a force bond. Valkorion lies and says he is trying to help the Outlander defeat his son Arkan. Valkorion is presenting himself as a master and is grooming the Outlander for succession. The depths of the Emperor's true plans was to once again be able to cause war and chaos while staying out of the affair.
And
While
feed
living
on
inside
it.
the Outlander's mind, the Emperor was essentially in a safe place, where no one would be currently hunting him, so he was now once again in a position to just sit and wait it out. He had more than enough power at this point to simply move on to someone else. However, he decided to stick with the Outlander and to continue grooming them for succession of the Eternal Throne. Valkorion knew that his son Arkan or his daughter Valen would assume control of the Eternal Empire and wreak havoc across the galaxy, and he was right. After his body was destroyed, his son Arkan proclaimed to the people that the Outlander had killed their emperor. This caused the people of Zakuul to hate and despise the Outlander, along with their Sith Empire or Galactic Republic. Arkan then proceeded to force the Empire and Republic into submission. Arkan and the Eternal Empire were recognized as the
Wow, they took war on the Empire and the Republic, and they won. That's crazy.
superior authority in the galaxy.
Damn,
and
he
each
took over.
action was to pay tribute to them. The death and destruction that was caused along the way had once again made the Emperor
Feeding him
more powerful,
chunky
as
foods
it
of
always
life.
does. So
Life.
fueling these engagements
Yum, yum,
yielded
yum,
a
yum.
high reward for the Emperor. Did you know that there was a deleted Darth Malgus cinematic that never made it to the game? Darth Malgus was seen frozen in carbonite and brought before Valkorion before his body was destroyed. This was at some point either during or after the Eternal Raids. At this point in time, the Emperor had become so sure of his own victory in the end that he even allowed the Outlander to borrow his power in some situations, which would be an incredible display every time. So what exactly was the Emperor's plans here?
Yeah, I was like, what is he playing
he
at?
intended to bide his time within the Outlander's mind. Eventually, the Outlander would defeat Arkan and even Valen and claim the throne. This is what Valkorion was waiting for. The Emperor wanted a host that was more powerful than any he had before, so he groomed the Outlander to be this powerful, so in the end, he could take it for himself. Yet the Emperor's willingness to wait was ultimately his downfall. The Outlander was able to retrieve the holocron that held Lord Dramuth from the vaults of Nathima. Dramuth told the Outlander that they could use the holocron to contain and destroy his son, Tenebrae.
He is
Right.
immortal, but not invulnerable. This holocron is the instrument of his destruction.
Wow.
From their allies,
His hate for
and
his
using
father
the
is going to be his
Holocron,
undoing.
The Outlander was able to finally defeat Valkorion once and for all. From within the Holocron, the Emperor's essence was defeated and his presence in the galaxy was no more. However,
What about his other host?
Tenebrae had one final failsafe. In the years that passed during the defeat of Valkorion, Lord Scourge had received information from Revan's Force Ghost about the location of the Emperor's original body.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go on
We can
about.
only assume that Revan knew of this failsafe from living inside the Emperor's mind for so long during his 300-year imprisonment. The ritual that Tenebrae carved into his own flesh all those years ago had not activated automatically after Valkorion's defeat. Whether this was the original design or not, we do not know. But when Scourge and his allies found the body in stasis, they were successfully able to destroy it, and this is when the ritual activated. The failsafe
what did
had
that
a
do?
wave of dark side energy that would allow Tenebrae to latch onto any living host around. Fortunately, Scourge and his ally were able to resist these powers as they previously encountered them and have since learned. However, Satele Shan and some of her students had also made their way to the location of the body. We can only guess that either Revan communicated with Satele too, or she saw these events in her own Force vision. But Satele planned a trap for the Emperor. Instead of allowing this failsafe to roam and spread across the galaxy, she used herself as bait so that the Emperor would focus his efforts on trying to possess her or her students, who were strong with the Force. While she entered a battle of will against the Emperor for control, all those who had challenged him in the past and rose to confront him were able to collectively come together in this one final moment. And that was the trap. To force the Emperor into a corner while 100 heroes from across the eras, Sith and Jedi alike, come together to overwhelm Tenebrae's return.
And do they do it? I'm
Satele's
assuming they
plan
do it. I'm
worked,
assuming they
and
do
the
it. I'm assuming they get it
revived
off.
version of Tenebrae saw and targeted her for a new host. Tenebrae was able to roam within and manipulate the environment of Satele's mind. However, this version of him that was stored within the failsafe had no memory of anything that had happened since after he was in stasis. Tenebrae was, however, able to read the minds of Satele and her students, which gave him quite enough insight as to what had been happening. This is how he was once again able to take his other forms, such as Valkorion. It was Darth Maul who said, "What he said is very true. This Tenebrae is the much earlier and essentially weaker version, forgetting the fundamental nature of the Sith, to be surpassed. On this day, so many had risen against him that the Force itself took action and abandoned the Emperor. Cut off from the Force, he was brought down to nothing but dust."
In the end,
No, that's crazy. The Force itself said, nah, bro, you too strong. Bro, the mods banned him. They banned him off of the Force wiki. That's crazy. He got banned.
nothing.
Man got banned IRL. That's crazy.
Tenebrae was born a true Sith prodigy, yet time proved him arrogant, and not acting quickly cost him his final victory. His knowledge and teachings would be lost, as no apprentice was taken, and the legend of the Sith Emperor who had consumed worlds would be lost in time.
That was wow. Okay, that one was actually really good. I enjoyed that one so much. That was actually great. Oh my god. This guy's a G. Oh, I love him. He's my favorite character for Old Republic. I don't know about I don't want to say he's my favorite character because I do love characters as much as him, if not more. and I wouldn't want to replace Darth Maul like that or Starkiller, but my god, I feel like he's interchangeable depending on my day. I'll say depending on my day, he's either first or second favorite character. Okay, all right, I'm gonna leave it at that because I love him so much. Oh my, he's so cold with it. He's cold with his plans, he's cold with his abilities, he's cold with everything he's done, the manipulation, the planning, the proceduring, the genius of this man, the dark side wielding. It's just, oh wow, like my god, is it so strong and so overpowered and so goddamn cool. But besides that, that's gonna be my reaction to the full story of the Sith Emperor explained, Star Wars Legend, by the Star Wars Central. It has been one of the very enjoyable reactions so far, I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as well, and my reaction. Besides that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye, my lost souls.